Welcome to Erica Lynn Speaks. An inspirational, motivational conversation designed specifically to help you move forward. And now, here's Erica Lynn.
Welcome. This is your girl, Erica Lynn. I'm back again, y'all. Okay, I can't go nowhere. I tried to stay hidden, but now I'm out of hiding. Here I go again. You know, back by popular demand, you guys, the podcast relaunch that we did on Thursday was such a success. We had to come back again. We had to bring Dr. Angela back because it was requested. Well, needless to say, my mama called me the next day, said, girl, okay, I missed some of the things because I couldn't hear that good. I need to hear what Dr. Angela had to say. So I called Dr. Angela on the phone. I said, okay, can you come back so we could do a part 2? And she was like, yes, by all means I can. So I was so grateful, you know, and just thankful to that. So I'm glad we're here. So we're calling part 2 Couch Wine and Conversations, because we're just sitting in an intimate setting and we're going to have a conversation. And so I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about Dr. Angela, and we're going to get started. But I want to make sure that we give a shout out to our sponsor, because none of this could have been done without our sponsor. So this podcast was brought to you by our sponsor. You want you to do your thing. We're gonna shoot our producer, y'all. Don't quote me saying that. Go back up. Never, we'll get there. Where's your brother? Can you go get your other brother, Deja, so he could show him? It's there, Jalen, right down in there. Can you show him where the the commercial is back from the sponsor? There we go again, right? That's the best part about intimate settings, so that we can, things happen. It's all part of life. And so anyway, I'm gonna just keep it rolling until he figure it all out, my tech team, right? So I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about Dr. Angela. Dr. Angela Harden-Mack, an MD, is a trailblazer in holistic wellness, dedicated to empowering high-performing career women to reclaim vibrant health, resilience, and work-life harmony. An accomplished women's wellness coach, international speaker, and best-selling author. She is celebrated for her groundbreaking work in redefining strength and success for today's professional woman. As CEO of Live Great Lives Holistic Wellness Coaching, Dr. Angela blends modern medicine, timeless holistic therapy, and the essence of feminine energy to create personalized wellness solutions that foster multiple dimensional thriving. Spotlighting in print and broadcasting media, and crowned Miss Michigan Corporate America 2025, yes, and third runner-up for National MCA 2025. She champions a movement inspiring women everywhere to live, love, and lead with wholeness, confidence, and purpose. So I want to welcome Dr. Angela Harden-Mack to the podcast.
Thank you, Erica. It is a pleasure to be here. Oh my gosh, we had such a great time.
Yes.
The last time, so super excited to be here.
Yes, I'm glad you came back because, like I said, my mother was like, it was some things I really wanted to hear what she had to say. And it's like she was looking so pretty in the crown, you know, and so the people that could not hear you, they was like, what is she, Miss America? What? I said, yep. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Miss Michigan.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So that's beautiful. So let's just dive right in for those who missed some of the things for part 1. Yes. Let's just get started so they can know a little bit more about you. Tell them a little bit more about Dr. Angela.
Yes. Well, I want to tell you that I am from Detroit. So if you are from Detroit, go whoop whoop. So I'm a girl from the D. Yes, we have an amazing audience. So the audience is just rocking. So a girl from the D, and I am a woman of God, a woman of faith, and I am a hustle culture dropout. You know, we don't often think about dropping out of something with vibrant living. But at the start of my career, I was caught in the hustle and bustle. I was working way too many hours and it was weighing me down. So when I had a revelation because someone pointed out to me that I was trying to live like Superwoman, I took that S off. I let the Superwoman go. So I refer to myself as a hustle culture dropout.
Okay. Well, that's good because we had the audience, they had a lot of questions, because everybody in this day, so that society has to do a lot to be a lot to get somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But so I commend you for being the hustle culture dropout. But just break it down a little bit so they can understand a lot more. What does that mean, being a hustle culture dropout?
Yes. So in modern times, we hear this phrase hustle. Yes, it's a dance, it's a song, but the hustle is this mentality that we have to push, we have to keep going, and we have to produce at all costs. And as a result, especially for women, because we have that extra, we are dealing with expectations from society. We are dealing with our personal expectations. And we find that we end up many times sacrificing a part of who we are. Sometimes it's our identity, our authenticity. Sometimes, and many times, it's our health and wellness, because we will give up sleep. We will grab the first thing to eat, and it may not be the healthiest. Sometimes women may say, well, I'll put off joy, I'll put off relationships, because we feel as though we have to do it all, and we're afraid that if we don't, we'll fall behind.
Yeah, I agree with you. And while you were saying that, I was thinking about when my children were little, I would cook dinner and I wouldn't sit down to eat. I would actually stand up at the counter and eat and let them sit at the table. But in reality, even though I was there in the moment with them, I should have sat at the table no matter what was going on. If I'm taking off that Superwoman cape, I should have just sat down and had that meal setting with them. And a lot of people, you'll be surprised. Probably we did a poll. A lot of women would say, "Nope, I'm still in the kitchen doing something while the kids is eating." Right?
Both hands up. Yeah, that's what I did. Yes.
And so to say that you're taking that S off your chest so that you can be in the moment, in the present time, is very important. Very important. So I commend you for doing that. We talked about the Superwoman, right? Yes. So let's talk a little bit more about being a Superwoman. To me, being a Superwoman means that I worked at some points. I worked 3 jobs. I still had to take care of the kids.
Yes.
If it wasn't for my mother, I don't know how I would have done it at some points. But then I still had to help with homework.
Yes.
Try to figure out if I could sleep somewhere in between.
Yes.
On top of meals and all the other good stuff. And so I'm like, how did I even survive some days? So let's talk about the modern day Superwoman.
And it's interesting, when I began to peel back the layers of this concept of Superwoman, I thought, you know what, first of all, this is a cartoon character. It was created by a man based on Superman, and the character was superhuman. And think about it, when we are going about and living our lives as women, we act as if we are superhuman. So we think, well, maybe I can just do it off 3 hours of sleep, or maybe I could just grab this. Now it's the energy drinks. We didn't have it. We were raising our children, but things that are not that nutritious. So we need to redefine, and I think we need to recognize that we are human. So let's put this idea that we have to do something that's beyond our humanity. And we need to know that we are human, and that we don't have to do everything at the same time. That's part of it. And that, I don't want to let somebody down. I need to do that. Remember that commercial, I could bring home the bacon, I can fry it up in a pan, that the perfume, and never let him forget he's a man, because we feel as though we had to do everything. But there's a season for things.
Yeah.
Many things.
Yeah. But when we're in that hustle woman culture, because I just want to bring back what the audience member asked. And it was like, we were talking about different ways for people to decompress, although we're going to get there later on. But we want to make sure that we address the women who do have small children, and they are doing so many things. Like, what is some advice that you can give them so that they don't implode while they're working and feeding the kids? Some is breastfeeding and still going to work, working full time. What can you say to that woman?
I'm glad you used that example, because that was me. I breastfed all 3 of my children.
Okay.
And my second child, I went back to work. He was just a couple months old, and I couldn't pump.
Okay.
That was very distressful for me. One of my colleagues, she would go in the room and she would have like 3 or 4 ounces to come out, and I would look, and I was so wired that my milk would not flow at work. I was crying driving home. What do I do? What am I going to do? So I was like, God, I need a solution. So I decided that I would nurse my son in the morning before I left, and I would nurse him in the evening. And that was my solution. It worked for us. He took a bottle. So it was about finding that rhythm that worked for us and letting go of that guilt, because I felt kind of worthless. What am I doing? I can't produce this milk. He was my second child, so I had another at home. And so for each woman, find what works for you. We talked about that in the afterglow. What works for you in your household, in your season, is not going to be identical to someone else. You have to just forget about the naysayers and everybody else is like, no, you can't run my house. Sometimes you have to tell people, you cannot run my house.
That's a good one. That's a good one, because so many people on the outside, they can tell you how to run your house better than you can, right? Or so they think. And so it's not wrong for you to tell an outside person, you can't run my house. I appreciate your advice. I mean, like, I will take it in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to use that you say, because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And I've seen like movies and things like that where they would, to play that particular part where the mother-in-law will come in and tell you everything that you should do, in your house, and then it's driving you crazy. And so in real time, it is okay to say, I appreciate the advice, but please don't run my house. Because they don't know what's going on. They not there when you ain't sleeping that night. That baby driving you crazy, and the man driving you crazy. And if you got a dog, the dog probably driving you crazy too. So yes. So let's go and start talking about the well woman era. The well woman era. What is the well woman era, and why do you believe this message is so vital for women today?
Yes. So I define well, WELL, as wisely elevating my well-being to live my best life. Because we talk about there are different types of wisdom. There's the wisdom of the body. There is wisdom is applied knowledge. So it's about us as women going, you know what? I know there are resources now. I want to learn to apply it and to elevate, meaning that I'm going to prioritize me. I'm not going to put me on the back burner, on the back shelf, but me. Taking time is important. And then my life, again, to live, not surviving. Sometimes we will, and not just juggling, but I want to live my life, and I want to do it in a way that it's the best me. And so with this, I am redefining wellness. It's not, we are more than female anatomy. We're more than what we eat, how often we diet, how often we lose weight. We're more than female anatomy. It's time for a new definition. And it's about our wholeness. It's about our wellness. And it's about the ability to be successful in all of our brilliance without self-sacrifice. We are amazing. We are phenomenal. And we need the opportunity to allow our radiance, that inner beauty, to shine and to be bold and brilliant in every room we step in.
Yeah. Hard for a lot of women, right? Because you may feel like, if I say I'm beautiful today, somebody might say, oh, she just conceited, or oh, something. And so you kind of like don't boast yourself, you know what I mean? But and the reality is, if you don't tell yourself you're beautiful, how can you expect somebody else to tell you? Because if you're walking around waiting on for somebody else to tell you, might not get that chance. But in the flip side of that, because I walk in my own radiance, I always acknowledge another woman. I'm saying, hey, you're beautiful. I like those shoes. I like that outfit. I love the makeup that you're wearing. I just try to always say a kind word every day, no matter who it is, because I feel like I could have just made that person's day. And it just could have made a big difference, and they go on and bless the world, based on, oh, she said something nice to me for that day, So yeah, I totally agree with that. So tell us a little bit about the Diamond Wellness Framework. How does it help women achieve balance, health, and fulfillment in the dimension of life?
Yes. The diamond is part of the logo for my company, Live Great Lives Holistic Wellness Coaching. And the diamond represents a number of things. When we say diamond, we automatically think probably value. We think beauty. We probably think this is something that is worth some money, some value. So the diamond represents the multifaceted nature. It represents that we are each unique, and the diamond is formed based on natural elements and time and pressure, and it's something that's valuable. So for each woman, it's the same thing: our purpose, our dreams, our aspirations, the experiences of life. Many will be good, but there will be some challenges and some things where we going, is this really my life, or how can I make it through, or who? I'll be glad when it gets to the end. And so as a result of those things, we are each diamonds. We are challenged, we are invited to discover that diamond within. We are invited to craft a lifestyle that allows us to shine. So when I was given that inspiration to select the diamond, it's about women. They can look at that and say, that's me, I know who I am. And so with my framework, 4 points or 4 facets: healthcare, and I talk about lifestyle medicine. A lot of information now in medicine in the world, because we know nutrition and movement and managing stress and some other points are important. Live Great Lives, my company. The next part is wellness. Wellness is a lifestyle. Wellness is about doing things that are proactive so that we can be healthy. And wellness isn't a destination, it's an ongoing journey. Then I talk about self-care, more than pampering. Yes, the manis and petties are important. We were talking about massages earlier. Those are needed, but there's another level to that. And then I talk about inner self-care, because that's really taking more time to focus on our inner world. And I add this twist to it because I talk about feminine energy and the expressions of feminine energy. So those 4 facets: healthcare, wellness care, self-care, and inner self-care.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot, because at the end of the day, when you do the 4, then you walk away feeling like you're amazing. You've not only pampered yourself, but you did everything that you needed to do. But you took care of yourself mentally,
Yes.
physically.
Yes.
You nourished your body. You nourished your soul. And so, like, even when we go to church, right? We sit on the front row at church. I like when I go to school. When I was in school, I would still sit in the front. A, because I can't see that good. But B, I sit on the front because I feel like I'm gonna miss something, right? And so if God gonna be handing out blessings, I'm right there. I'm on the front row so that I can get it.
Yes.
And I don't do it because I'm trying to be anything else. I just really enjoy, service, and I like to sit in the front so that I can get whatever God is given that day. And so that's something that nourishes me. It nourishes, and now at this phase in my life, I feel like if I don't go to church, I miss something that week. So I done miss my feeding of my soul. You know what I mean?
And it's so important, right? Because we are more than a body. We're more than a body and mind. And if we don't have the opportunity to go deeper and to nourish the soul, a major part of who we are is missing. We could be successful. A lot of people are successful, but that can be empty if your soul isn't fed, your spirit isn't, lit, and you're not letting your light shine in the world. Yeah. I that resonated with the audience. They're like, yeah. Yes.
That's wonderful. Okay. So through your company, Live Great Lives Holistic Wellness Coaching, how do you help women move from overwork to alignment?
In this time, so many of us have so many things to do. We have busy schedules. So it's not that we aren't busy, but there's a way that we can be busy without falling into the trap of busyness. We're just constantly going. And it begins with many times awareness, to pause and like, where am I? What am I doing? Am I just going through, or am I taking time to smell the daisy, so to speak? So that awareness, we talk about seasons in life. There are natural seasons: fall, winter, spring, summer. There are elements of how we define seasons that also represent life. Are you in a summer season where you are skipping through and everything is great? Are you in a fall season in life when it's time of harvest? You have planted, you have nourished your crop. Now it's like, okay, you're gaining the benefits. Are you in a winter season? Winter can be something we look forward to because we get to rest. You have gathered your harvest, and farmers will begin to repair and plan for the next season. But sometimes the winter season is cold and it's dark and it's unforgiving because it can be a hard place.
Yeah.
So in order to begin to unpack this, am I overworking? That awareness starts, and in order to be in alignment, part of that is what season am I in? Because if somebody tries to go out and plant in the wintertime, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You're going to hit that hard brown. If you're trying to harvest when it's summer, your crop isn't ready.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what we do, why we are not aligned, because we're doing things in the season
Yeah.
when we're out of season. The actions don't sync or connect or align with the seasons.
Because when you talked about it in the afterglow, and man, you hope you don't mind me keeping that name, because Deja was like, "Hey, we're going to start shooting the afterglow after every podcast." So thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
But when you talked about in the afterglow, what season you're in, I heard you, but I didn't hear you. Today, I hear you. Like you for real, like I really hear you, because it really does make a difference what season you in order to determine what you need to do to move forward. Because if you take the summertime, for example, when the sun is shining, sometimes all you need to do is just go outside.
Yes.
And it's something that got to do with the sun. It just brightens you up. It just makes your day. Even if you just take a walk to the corner, you feel like, okay, whatever was heavy on me is not as heavy anymore, because the sun just kind of does that for you. And then let's talk about the wintertime. The wintertime brings on depression so bad, because people are in the house by themselves. It does get dark early. They lonely. The holidays, you don't have somebody to spend with you for the holidays. And so that can be the most blessing season for some people, or the most worst season for some people. And I give you a simple example. When we were talking about today, we were going through the outline for the 12 podcasts, because I'm doing 12 episodes in this season, right? And I said, well, we're not gonna shoot for Thanksgiving because we'll be enjoying ourselves. And so my marketing team says, do you know how many people is alone for Thanksgiving, who doesn't have a family, who needs to hear that word and hear that message? And so I heard what they said. So we are going to record, we'll just play it, make it, drop on Thanksgiving. So we will be able to give a message, so that whoever's alone for Thanksgiving, we also are making sure that you're covered during that season. So thank you for that. So that's beautiful, So I heard you.
Okay. And can we chop it up a little bit?
Yes.
Because one of the questions during the afterglow was about, like you said, the moms. How do we navigate this when we have young children? And one of the things, I have older siblings, so I have in-laws because of my two older sisters and my older brother. And one of the things my sister-in-law said that was profound, she said, your babies are not babies always. And this was when I was in college, before I even had a family, but I heard that word, and when it later applied to my life, I was like, that's what she meant. And so when we talk about the seasons in life, there are some things when your children are small, that, going back to your household, that may not be the time when you want to try to be in the rotaries, you want to do this, where you're doing multiple things, because it's, what is that order for you? For people of faith, is God first, family second, everything else is there. And we talked about ministry starts at home. You got to take care home. You can have all the titles you want. You can be whoever outside, but if your family is not looking to you and like, that's my person, that's my mama, that's my wife, what have you. And so when your babies are young, it's, what is the best way I can serve them? Because they get older, then they are in aftercare and activities, then you get a little bit more time. All mine are adults now. And I'm like, I have three adults. So my life is very different because I've raised my children. So my season is different. And when you have those young babies, don't be afraid to go in your quiet time, your closet with your household. And what are the things that are the most important?
Because I'm gonna say this. What I find about the younger generation is probably a little bit different than when my mom came up, and then when I was coming up. Because when I had my kids, I was married, so I kind of had a little freedom because he would watch the kids. But what I see with this generation is, as soon as they have a baby, they out at the club. They out, like, they don't even wait the 30 days. Do you remember they say when you have a baby, you're supposed to stay in the house for 30 days. Only time you come out the house is to take the baby to the doctor, for real, or maybe go, get some groceries. And so, and so our parents said don't do it, but this generation challenged it. And the reason, it's not that you can't go outside within the 30-day period. You can, But because our parents seen things that happen because of it, you can get the flu, you can get sick, you can just a lot of things can happen, or you can go out and bring something home to the baby. So it was said as a protection for you and your child for that 30 days. Then after that, the baby is a little bit stronger and your immune system has built up a little bit more because you just pushed out a whole baby.
Yeah.
Like ain't like you pushed out a little golf ball. That was a whole baby with a big old head. You know what I'm saying? And but I said that to say that in the season, when you have a small child, it's okay to not feel like you're missing out on things because your friends are still going and coming. But in the reality, if all your friends had babies together, then all y'all would be doing baby and family stuff. But if you had a baby and your friends is single or they're past that baby stage, you're wanting to do something that the things that they're doing, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just got to stay at home and take care of your baby, and be okay with being in that season. Because as you said, that baby is not going to be small always. They're going to be grown and gone. And then you're going to go through what I went through. I was depressed when I looked up. Everybody was living in different countries and I'm in there by myself. Like, oh man, I didn't know this.
It's real. Because that's a transition. And for women, that's an important transition, because going back to identity, if the identity is tied into your roles, your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other, your homemaker, your mommy, your PTA, then what about you? It gets to the point, it's like, do you know you? And if you haven't taken the time to nourish you, to love on you, then when things change, you sit around going, and you can begin to fold in on yourself and going, is this really what I need or who I am? So we have to nourish ourselves. We have to identify who we are, because it's not that you're the wife, mother, you sing in the choir, you're the usher. You are you first. Yeah. Call your name, and call your name, call it out. Who are you? I am. I am, who my mother's name is Juanita. So oftentimes I say and my daddy's Oliver. I often say I'm Juanita and Oliver's daughter, because they poured so much into me and our siblings. We said, we're Juanita's daughters. We're Juanita's girls. And what did my parents say to me? You can be anything you want to be. You can do anything. And so we have to call your name. Call your name. I am bold. I am beautiful. I am accomplished. I'm proud of you, girl. You have to call your name. You have to identify who you are and build that identity.
I love that. Love that. And when you were saying that just my mom always used to say, I am. So you are absolutely correct. And it does make you walk into this. You're walking with your head up high. You're feeling proud. You're walking boldly. You're just taking on the things that come into life, because life always keeps life.
Yes.
But it's how you deal with it that makes it count. Yes. Right. And so in this season, you ain't got time to tuck your head and run. Just say, I am all that I am. That's and right. Keep it moving. That's wonderful. Yes. So you often say wellness is not a luxury. It's a leadership strategy. How does that perspective change the way professional women approach their careers?
Ooh, that's important. So we can easily talk about our personal ideas about wellness, right? What you do for you and then what we do in our home. When we work outside of the home, I am an employee. As a medical doctor, I work for a system. My wellness also extends to my workplace. And depending on where we are in leadership, because everybody is always watching, they may not say anything, but people are watching. So we have the opportunity to take wellness into the workplace. Even if your employer doesn't have an employee wellness or corporate wellness, whatever it is, you take it with you. Nobody's going to say, you know what, are you taking your break? Did you eat today? No, it's, our responsibility to make sure we take that break, that we eat, that we honor our boundaries, because sometimes it's like, no, I'm not available for that project, or no, you know what, this is my time to leave. So if we're going to be the leaders that we desire, it begins with self-leadership. Before we lead anybody else, we lead a team, we have to lead me. So self-leadership before team leadership, and wellness begins here. And then as we lead others, it will be important to recognize the needs of the team members. Emotional intelligence is part of that, but everybody's different. If your team member's having a hard day, if your team member's coming in every day frazzled, right? And they're coming in and it's like, okay, what's going on with that? That's an opportunity to talk to them in an appropriate manner because you want to invest in your team. You're not there to work people.
Yes.
You take care of your team will take care of the mission and the vision.
Yes.
That's leadership.
Yes, you're absolutely correct because I'm running a team at work. Then I got to run a team for Erica Lynn Speaks. Then I got another team that I have. And so I do have to understand that everybody is their own individual, right? And then one example, my daughter works for me, right? And so we're working together 5 days a week. And she is by far probably the best employee I've ever had. And she won't even take a lunch, right? So I had to start telling her, go take your lunch. And then as the company is growing, then they're constantly calling on her and she started getting frustrated. I said, well, let me tell you why. That's the precedence that you set. They send you something, you get it back right away. Now you never developed like a 24-hour turnaround period, giving me 24 hours. Right. So now when they calling you, they expecting it to get it done because this is the precedence that you set. But you always had the grace of a 24-hour period, but you didn't give that. And so you did, those are standards that you did not set. And you did not take a lunch. So now that I think she heard me, she goes and at least sit in her car for 30 minutes. Even if she don't eat, she'll go and get away from the computer because burnout is real.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's real.
Yes.
I posted, I'm sorry.
No, go.
So I posted last week a couple of things on Facebook. I said, for high achievers, because sometimes high achievers don't recognize burnout because it's part of I'm going to produce, I'm going to push through, I'm going to keep going. And it's part of that thing too, is because I don't want people to think I'm a failure. Or for me, my thing was I'm not a slacker, right? No, I still got to keep doing this thing because people will think I am a slacker. Burnout is real. Burnout is physical exhaustion, it's emotional exhaustion, and then it's that disconnect. You are not enjoying what you would do. I'm very familiar with burnout because in the medical field, they talk about it so much. I mean, which is important. And so it's every year there's a conference, there's a paper, there's an article about burnout. So it has been this thought with me for, like I said, almost since the start of my career. We're having more conversations. It's important for women to know that. There's a study, the American Psychological Association, they do studies, and I think it was last year, 2023, I think, they mentioned that women are scoring higher on their stress. Okay. So men may have been giving like a 4, 5, 6, women are like 7, 8, 9. So, and the women who participated in the study. So burnout is real. We can prevent burnout. If you find that you are experiencing it, there is recovery for burnout. And so it's real, and we don't want to have the fire of burnout. We want to be the fire of inspiration. We want to have the fire of enthusiasm. We want to have the fire of transformation, but not the fire of burnout.
Yes. Fire. So I'm going to tell you one of the things that I use to help me prevent burnout in this season. I open my mouth and I say something. I'm telling the kids I'm tired. I'm telling my mom I'm telling somebody like I can't handle this. But I thank God that I have such a great team because they just pour back into me. Like God didn't put you here for no reason. This is what you're here to do. And so when I decided to bring Erica Lynn Speaks, now mind you, I got my daytime employees. I got other companies that I got going on. So now, okay, God's saying you come out of hiding or and you relaunch Erica Lynn Speaks. That's a whole company within itself. People think that you just see Erica on the podcast. That's it. I got a whole staff doing like it's so much. It's a business. So when you see stars and celebrities out here, you might see them on stage doing the comedy show, but it's a whole business behind the scene. So I instantly had to reach out to my staff. I said, hey, do you want to come back on board? I got a whole team. So in order to get this 1 hour podcast that you see, I had to reach out and say, hey, I can't do this by myself. So I open my mouth and I say something, I need help. And so I said that to say, please open your mouth and ask people for help, and don't try to do it alone.
Yes. Yeah. The person on there said, I love this and I needed to hear this. I needed to hear this.
Okay. So put that on. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. Pop that up there, Jalen. My audience was commenting on the comments that are coming in.
Yes.
And so let's just take a moment to address some of the comments that were up there. So now that we can actually see. Well, how about you scroll back up to the top and let's see what some of the virtual audience has said.
Great audience.
I love the
Give it up for
breakdown
the
awareness.
audience. Yes.
Right, because without you guys, none of this can be possible. So then that was Deja. So go to the next one for me, sir, and do that one. Okay, there you go. So that was Jacqueline Found. She says, my mother was a very wise lady, and I appreciate what she instilled in me. Yes, absolutely. Because without our mothers, man, how can we go forward? And I'm just gonna say something to that. Last night when Deja and I were over here and we were preparing the content, and I just started sharing some things with her about my past. All of it wasn't roses and pretty and perfect. And my girlfriend says, "Oh, you tell her that." I said, "First of all, she's 27. Second of all, if I can share my experience with her and she can learn something from it, then maybe that will help her be able to navigate through what she's going to go through, because she's going to go through it regardless. And so so by me providing that information to her, now she can make a decision based on, okay, this was done before me. I'm not the only one that it happened to, right? Because how many people think that they're the only one that something happened to them, and then they go and hide because of shame. That's what it is. They go from shame. But 9 times out of 10, your mama done did it. Your auntie done did it. Your grandma done did it. If you find out, for real, find out what your grandma's done did, you're going to be like, oh, man, I ain't that bad. They just figure out how to move forward, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes, life, we play the hand that we're dealt. It's not that we ask for things, but it's like, you know what, this is what life is giving me, and I'm going to move through this in the best way that I think in this time. So yeah, it's important that we talk and we share, and generations are not left wondering.
Oh, I like that.
Questions. Yeah.
I like that. You just be dropping gems.
Which one about that? The generations are not left, right? So we talk again. When we grew up, it was like some things you don't say outside the house. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? What happens in the family stays in the family, but we should talk about it in the family so that we are not repeating certain things, because we want the generations to go beyond what we do. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome. So Jalen, you can go to the next one. Okay, so this is very impactful. I love how quickly this podcast created a new standard. This is a very impressive, great video, great sound, and amazing guests tuning in every week. Okay, thank you. Okay, go to the next one. Monet. Hi, Monet. She says, I love this. I needed to hear it. Hi, Monet. Thank you for tuning in to this part 2 of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. Go ahead, Jalen. Go to the next one. The doctor's tiara is just so gorgeous.
Miss Michigan, corporate America. Thank you.
Right. So since we there, let's talk about it. So how did you get crowned Miss Michigan Corporate America?
Thank you. So the Miss Corporate America competition was started 17 years ago. The founder, Anissa King, and it's out of Florida. This year, 2025, the competition expanded. So now the goal is to have a competition in all 50 states, and then the queens for the state advance to the national. So this year, the inaugural year, I'm Miss Michigan. I brought it home, and I was Miss Detroit, then Miss Michigan, and I competed in a national competition. So we focus on elevating women. It's about empowerment. It's demonstrating that women are beautiful and bold and entrepreneurs and involved in community service. So with the competition, we have interviews. We had to do a pitch. I had to talk about why I am a champion for women's wellness. We had the evening gown competition, and we also had several other the interview, we had a contest. And so in the national, we had even more. So we were there for 3 days. We had to do a dance routine. It was this like Hollywood production. We were walking down the runway and doing our things. We had our sashes and outfits. We had to introduce ourselves. We had a question on stage. So after all of this, each part of the competition, the numbers are added, so they're tallied. And then I made the top five. So when they called us out, I'm on the top five, and then I'm the third runner up. So it was pretty cool. I brought the crown home to Michigan. This is my first time competing. This is not a bathing suit. And so, ladies, I want to tell you there are so many types of competitions available, and do it. I would say find one that resonates with you. You would not be the same because it stretches you. I grew as an individual. I had to really hone in what's my why? How am I serving in the world? What will I do with my crown? So, as I will always be 2025 Miss Corporate America, this is my title forever. And my initiatives are women's wellness beyond the basics. It's about spa, self-care beyond the basics, beyond the spa day, and girls empowerment. So part of what I'm doing is like here, I was invited, Erica so graciously invited me to be a guest on the podcast, and my topics resonated with her. Breakthrough, courageous living. What do you do beyond that? So I'm sharing my message as a champion for women's wellness and talking about empowerment as a medical doctor as well. So I get to blend my medicine, with women, because again, this is what it's about. We don't have to hide in the shadows anymore.
Yeah.
So I am super excited that I represent Detroit, super excited that I represent the state of Michigan, and to bring home a national standing third runner up the first time for Michigan. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Michigan.
That's wonderful. You have such a beautiful personality. I was just like, because I love it when I just naturally click with people. I just like, oh my God, I feel like I've known you for so long.
Yeah, I know. We just been chopping it up and talking, right? And it was just flowing. It wasn't like we were like, I pull out this card. Well, what do I ask Erica? She was like, well, what do I say to Dr. Angela?
Yeah.
It was just we connected. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
audience, we just been laughing and connecting. So this is beautiful. Love it, love it, love it.
And that's the whole goal of Erica Lynn Speaks, is to let's just have a conversation, instead of questioning the interview style. It's just more personable to the audience. And so they can receive it a lot better when we do it that way. And then if you're just like focused, I ask you a question and then you have a recorded, answer in your mind, then it's like, okay, is she a robot or is this something for real, right? But these are personal experiences that you have gone through, and many people that you have helped in your career. Like, these are real experiences. And so I know it resonates with somebody in the audience, So we're going to touch on another one. Can you go, Jalen, to the one Monet sent? Yep. Thank you. Okay. I agree with that. Burnout is so real. I remember I was burnt out at my old job and made a promise to never allow myself to get burnt out again, and to really think about my health first. Absolutely. Like you said, take care of yourself first.
Yes.
So go to the next one.
And congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations for that. Congratulations for being bold. And I celebrate you. Sometimes we don't, especially as women, we need to celebrate each other more. So I salute you. I celebrate you because that was a bold move that you made.
Yes.
So yes, way to go.
Yes, right, Monet. Shout out for Monet.
It's like what you said, we have to empower each other.
Yes.
We can empower people just through love.
Yes.
And showing them how we feel about each other. Because it never has been a difficult thing for me to tell somebody you're beautiful, or, boy, I love those shoes you have on, or, that encourages people. They say, oh, well, thank you. But we don't do enough of that for each other as women.
Yes.
But I do. I don't know what you guys do, but I let people know how I feel and what I see. And I always say something to somebody. If I run into anybody in the course of a day, I always tell them, you're so beautiful. And I'm not lying either. Because I see the beauty in them,
Yeah.
And that's what we should do. We should encourage one another to do the right thing for each other.
Yes.
And that will help us to have less problems in the world. Say, for instance, you got people that are destroying themselves or killing themselves or whatever. There's no need for that. We need to help each other.
Absolutely.
Black
Absolutely.
American women, we need to help each other.
Absolutely. All women, but absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All women.
Yeah.
Speaking about Black American women, we need to help each other. other.
Yeah.
Be there for each other.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's very important. We've come a long way on this journey.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank
And so
you.
we're going to be mindful moving forward, ladies, and make
Yes.
sure that you help your sister, your friend, your neighbor, you know, somebody, your co-worker at work, you know. So just reach out and be that listening ear. Sometimes people just need you to listen. Because I always say, like, I need a sound. So the people around me, they have to sign NDAs because I need a sounding board. Like, I have to get it out. And then once I get it out, that makes me feel better and I can move forward, right? But so it just means something when you have somebody that just even listens to you. That does help you out. But then you can offer something nice. Hey, you want a meal today? Or you want me, let's go for a walk to the park, you know, because you just never know. Like, you know how we all might have that mean neighbor and you just kind of don't want to talk to that mean neighbor. But I think that the neighbor be mean because it's a defense mechanism. And I could be wrong, but it's a defense mechanism that they're afraid to let you in anyway because you're just going to turn around, it's going to end up bad, or they had a bad experience in their life or at one point or another. But if you say, hey, can we just go for a walk? You know, and she might be like, hey, you really are nice, you know, and then you get to learn that you misjudged your neighbor, you know, so absolutely. So we'll go on to the next one. Which one you at?
Are you a holistic doctor too?
Yes. So that was one of the questions because holistic, people have different views of that. And the way that I help people to understand and think whole person, body, mind, and spirit. I've had a couple people say, well, Dr. Harden-Mack, does that mean you only do like the natural ingredients? I'm like, no, it means body, mind, and spirit. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
The audience is
Right.
rocking.
I know. Thank you for
Yes.
that. Look, yes, ma'am.
We have a question text in from a virtual audience member that wants to ask Dr. Angela and Erica, for women who work from home, how do you keep the wellness lifestyle and balance it with being healthy?
That's a good one.
That's good.
You want to take it first?
Yes.
Okay.
Boundaries. Identify, number one, have a workspace. It may be your kitchen table, it may be your closet, but have a space that's clearly identified by you and your family that this is your workspace. Next, you want to make sure there's a separation between your work time and your off time. So if you start your clock, your work day at 8:30, don't go into your workspace at 7 o'clock. Go in at 8:30. Step away at lunchtime, step away on your breaks. And when the clock is over, that's what I call clock, when your work day ends. When you're off the clock, then move away from your space. It may be that you just like turn some right. It's like, this is my dining room table. Because let's keep it real. Sometimes you're working at home. Maybe it's like, when I put this tablecloth on, this is my office. And when work is over, when I take the tablecloth off, then this is our dining room table. So make sure that that is identified and honor your time. You talked about precedence before. If you allow yourself to be available 24/7, people are going to tap into you 24/7. Unless you own the company, then again, do not be. Even as company, you know, as entrepreneurs, we have boundaries. If you're an employee, that company will go on whether you're well or sick. So have that boundary. When you're working, you're working. When you're off, you're off. Those are some very key, important things to do. If you can begin with those things, then you're creating space in your day. And then according to your seasons, your rhythms, then you'll be able to do other things. And last thing I want to say is I talk about 5 to thrive. You can have things that are very important. And sometimes it's 5 minutes. Take a 5-minute break. You may want to read something that makes you laugh for 5 minutes. I walk during the weather is nice. I walk outside. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. So boundary, space, and start with at least 5. Remember, 5 to thrive. 5 minutes.
Yes. And so the part I want to add to that is put some clothes on.
Yes.
Put some clothes on. My mother always used to say, I had my first child when I was 18, and she would come over and she would say, get up and put some clothes on. You will never know who coming over your house. So get up in the morning and put some clothes on. So before you start that work day, put some clothes on before you go to that desk. A, it's going to change the way you feel. And B, 9 times out of 10 people that work from home, you got to jump online, have virtual meetings anyway. And so why just be dressed from the top up and then your pajamas from the bottom down, right? You know what I mean? Get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, because a lot of people that work from home, you still got to take calls, right? Because you're so now you like and doing what I do, I have to call every insurance company known to man, and Deja does too. And if I get one more person that they baby screaming in the background and she like hello and sound like you irritating her because you called and she worked for a company, right? So all of that can be changed if you honestly set standards for your day. Although you work from home, treat it like you're still going into the office, your home office, and you will see that you will be more productive. You will feel better. And when you punch out at 4:30 and the phone ringing, you're gonna hurry up and turn that phone line off. And now 4:30 is my me time. Let me get ready to go to the grocery store or do what I gotta do with my family. But you will be more dedicated to defining the spaces opposed to allowing them to blend all together. And then your day just becomes one big blur. Yes.
I want to say add to that. You said setting standards.
Yes.
That's the key word right there. Setting standards for yourself to live within and see yourself in that standard as a queen, as the beauty that you are, or whatever you have in your mind for who you are. But standard is very important because so many of us have such low standards, and we need to raise the bar. We need to raise our standards.
Raise that vibration. Raise your vibrations.
Yes.
All right. So, did we have any more questions on there, Jalen, that we needed to address before? No. Okay. What we got here? The podcast is brought to you by Executive Transportation Services Network, ETSN 24/7. Huge shout out to our sponsor. Yes. I want to shout out ETSN 24/7 because without you, the relaunch wouldn't be possible. So we appreciate you pulling the trigger and getting the ball rolling. Yes. So we are excited to keep it moving, and we're not gonna stop. No. So okay. So now we talked a little bit. We talked about work-life balance and stress and burnout and all of these things. But how can women redefine success so that it includes health, happiness, and purpose, not just achievement?
Yes. This is good. Look, this was my question in the competition, the national competition.
Okay,
yes. So what does success mean, and how can we look at success beyond the titles, the money, etc.? Those things are important. I mean, I have achieved a number of things. I enjoy it. It demonstrates my discipline. Success is more than the title. So that's the external markers, the money, the house, the car, those things. There's another component to success that's the internal. That's our accomplishment. How do you feel? So I define optimal success as the combination of how you feel when you are going about your pursuing your goals and the external markers, because an important part of that, if no one ever calls your name, because sometimes you may have a lot of accolades, but people don't respect it or don't honor it or acknowledge it. But that doesn't take away from you. You are still the CEO, you're still the doctor, you're still the manager, you're still the whatever it is. So we have to feel good about that. So the external marker, the internal, how you feel, the accomplishment, and then to do it without sacrificing self. So that's when that alignment comes in. You don't have to, it's not the stop, don't stop unless you drop. It's not that you have to sacrifice your health. I know we've been told that, but we can be successful and satisfied and healthy all at the same time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So again, we go back to asking for help.
Yes.
Or hiring help.
Yes.
Because I learned in this season, I just got to pay people. Okay. So we need more sponsors. Okay. But, in order to get it all done. And when we decided to do the relaunch, I was literally up. I get up at 3:30 in the morning, as I always say, and I pray. That's the first thing I do. I pray and read my daily Bible plan, and I include my daughter in my plan so she can hold me accountable for it. But then I go straight in my office and I get to work. So then after I get to work, then I get dressed. Then I go out and I do some runs because I have a couple of companies that I run. So I got things I got to do before I get to my actual job. Okay. So then when I get to my actual job, now I'm growing their company, right? because I said in this season that I was going to help Black men become rich. So what I do by trade, I actually help companies, they become rich dealing with me because nobody know how to do it. I went to school for it. This is my skill trade, right? So I'm saying, why am I helping everybody else? Let me help the Black man. So I actually work for a Black company, and they're growing, and it's a wonderful thing. But with growth, it's busy.
Yes,
my life is busy.
Yes.
So if I don't get it all done while I'm there, I used to could come home and get it done, but I can't. Once I leave out of there, then now Erica Lynn Speaks Company kick in. So now I'm on the go. So I was up late at night trying to get everything together for the relaunch. So the night before the relaunch, I told my assistant, I'm going to bed. So I'm going to bed. It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed. I'm not staying up till 11 o'clock because when I go to get the makeup from the makeup artist, I don't think she can cover these bags. So I've been intentional now doing hard stops and saying, hey, I got to go to bed because I know my body just naturally wakes up early in the morning now since I've been doing it so long, so I got to do it. So even though I'm doing all of this to be successful at what I do, I still have to take time out for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because what is the benefit? What is the ultimate joy if we're run down, ragged, worn out, wiped out, worried, anxious? You know what I'm saying? Is it going to feel good?
No,
not at all. And that's part of that. We have to stop, and we have to go into the quiet places with ourselves to really contemplate that, to ask those questions. Because at the end of the day, we want to be satisfied. We want to be fulfilled. We want to be healthy enough to enjoy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm just excited to have had you come back for part 1 and part 2, because I knew the message that you have was just so many people needed to hear it. Right. Because and I needed somebody that was accomplished to be able to share that message. You're a Black, beautiful queen. You've accomplished so much, and there's so many super women out here, and they all say, how can you tell me if you ain't, how would it say, how can you tell me if you ain't been through nothing? Right. So you done been through it all, because you shared with us in the first podcast, or probably the afterglow, that you was having your baby when you were finishing medical school. Is that correct?
First one, last day of medical school.
So tell me, share with this audience a little bit so that they can be clear of what you were going through when you were finishing medical school.
So I was pregnant the last year. I had my first with the last day of medical school. That was it. She was born at the end of the month, so I was done. And then my second child I had during residency, so the last year. So when I started residency, I had a baby. Praise God for mamas, because my mother and my father watched her, during that time. And so yeah, I was on call. I was working. So I had baby, sometimes baby in the high chair, and my Bible. I have several of my Bibles. And the first one, where there's some tears on that Bible, there's some scribbles, sometimes some happy tears, sometimes, I'm gonna get through this thing. But I look at that because that was our time, and there were some nights when it's like, okay, you're in your high chair, and I'm sitting here, I'm feeding her, and I'm studying. I'm here, I'm reading the Bible, because it takes, it takes, And so I was commuting at the time, during that marriage, I was commuting. So again, I was here with her, but so yeah, I know what it is to work more than 100 hours. I know what it is to get up every 2 or 3 hours nursing my baby. I know what it is to clean my house, because before I was like, I'm not gonna hire somebody to come in. I didn't know about that. I was like, you don't have somebody come in, right? Because that was the whole thing, expectations. Then I was be a slacker. So I was cleaning my house. I was working 40, 50, 60 hours. I was doing a whole lot of stuff. That was me.
Yeah. Now you had said what was the numbers? 105?
105, 2 to 3, and 6. I was working more than 105 hours a week, 1 week a month. I was up every 2 to 3 hours nursing my son, because remember, I couldn't pump at work because I didn't have it. So that was my commitment to us, that I would do that until he was 1. And I was up to start my day at 6 a.m.
So you know what I'm talking about over here.
Oh yeah.
And then you made it through. This is pretty as ever.
You look like you made it. Let's break out with the song.
I'm so excited. I mean, this was really, truly a blessing, not only for me, but I really do hope that the audience got a lot out of you being here on the podcast and showing them that you can have it all, but you have to take care of yourself in order to do so.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. Do
Thank
you have any last words that you'd like to share with the audience?
that you are beautiful, you are amazing, and you are valuable. Do not, your wellness is an asset. Just like we balance our checkbooks, we balance our investment portfolios, we rebalance. Take time to balance you. It's not 50-50. It's about the seasons in your life. So you are worthy and you are worth a wellness lifestyle.
Oh, that was beautiful. We want to thank Dr. Angela for being on the show. Man, this was such an amazing show. I'm so glad that she's back for part two. Bless me. I hope that it really, really blessed many of you that's watching this episode. It was so impactful, empowering. Man, like when I wake up tomorrow, I am all that he says that I am. You know, so I'm just so excited to just take on life and to open up the doors that God has in store for me. Just like many of you are, all it's going to take is just you to take one step, put one foot in front of the other, so that you can see the plan that God has for you. Because if you don't take that step, then you will never know. So I'm here to encourage you to take that step, to take that leap, to reach out to ask for help. Because again, we're here on Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. For the next 12 episodes, we're going to give you the steps, the tools, the techniques, the encouragement, the empowering. We're going to pray together. We're going to cry. We're going to laugh. We're going to give you all that you need so that you can move forward in your life. So I'm just so excited that God has brought me out of hiding so that I can be a blessing and encourage and touch somebody's life. I want to thank my audience for being here today. This was such an amazing, amazing episode. Again, we want to shout out our sponsor, ETSN 24/7. Meet all your luxury transportation needs. If you guys need a ride to school, the airport, or to be driven around town, make sure you go to etsn247.com. Make sure you please share, follow, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you know somebody that just needs to hear a word, right, and they just need some pick me up, say, hey, I got a podcast for you to listen to. You will not be the same after you listen to this podcast, because I know I'm not the same and I'm the host.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So, and before we go, I just want to make sure that I shout out my team. I can't do this without my team. I have an amazing, amazing team. And you think that just because we're a podcast that we move, like just because my team move like we're a 5-star business. You coming in here, they're going to treat you right, take care of you, make sure that you have all that you need. You won't be like, that was ghetto. You'll never get that here, right? No. So thank you. I appreciate all of you all. And my assistant. She's not in Michigan, but you will never know. Man, she rock out. So thank you, Sonya. Thank you, Erica Keelan. Yes. Thank you to my team. And I just want to thank all of you all for joining in to Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. We'll see you on Thursday. We're every Thursday. We're live at 7 p.m. So please make sure that you tune in. We just had to bring Dr. Angela back so that she can give you a word, right? And then hopefully maybe y'all, if she like us enough, she'll come join in on our once a month. We're going to have wine, conversation, laughter. We're going to have a bunch of ladies get together in the room, and we just going to talk about some stuff. It's going to be for real, right? Yeah, some real stuff. So I'm excited. So again, thank you for tuning in. So again, I guess that's all that I got to say, right? Because we said enough. So always remember to just take one step beyond you. God bless you. I'm Erica.